we are going to revisit the handshake problem again. Because what you have to do is you have to recognize when a situation ends up with this formula. Well, we're going to do that again. So these are people, they're vertices. I can call this person A, then this is A, B, A, B, C, at least so you know which vertex I'm talking about. It doesn't really matter. Okay, so if there's only one person, you don't have any handshakes, right? And remember what we did. We counted these. So A shakes B's hand, so it's one handshake. But what I'm going to do is make it so we can draw all the segments in here. So we're going to have duplicates. And then B shakes A's hands. So there's two handshakes. But because we have duplicates, we have to divide by 2. So the answer is 1. Okay, so now let's do 3 people. A shakes B's hand, and A shakes C. Okay? Then B shakes A's hand, and B shakes C. So from A, we had 2 handshakes, right? From B, we had 2 handshakes. And from C, I got to get a new color. C shakes B's hand, and then C shakes A's hand. I'm looking for some patterns here. So that's 6. However, I have my duplicates. You see the duplicates in color now? So I got to divide by 2. So that's 3. Not nowhere close to seeing a pattern. So let's do 4 people. A, B, C, D. And the thing when you do these counting techniques, this is like probability and statistics, is you have to be very careful about doing something in a systematic way. I'm not good at that. That's why I'm not good at that stuff. So A shakes B's hand, A shakes C, A shakes D. So how many handshakes are there? 3. Now, let's go to B. So I'm going to go in order, A, B, C, D. B shakes A's hand, B shakes C's, and then B shakes D's. So that's 3. Should see some patterns. C. C shakes B's hand, C shakes A, C shakes D's hand. So that's another 3. Do I have all the lines doubled up in the colors yet? Nope. I'll try that pretty color. D shakes C. Ooh, that does work nicely. D shakes B's hand, and D shakes A's hand. So I have double colors on every segment. Are there double colors? Yeah. Okay, I can write the 3 in yellow, but I don't think you'll see it. Not very well. I'll line it in black. There. So how many do you have? I don't want to add that. I'm going to multiply. That's 4 because there are 4 people. And how many handshakes for each person? 3. But I allow doubles. I don't want doubles. So we'll divide by 2 and we get 6. And I could do 5. But now maybe I see the patterns. This is the pattern you have to see. That's 1. Subtract those, that's 2. Subtract those, that's 3. What do you expect for the next one? So you're going to add 4, and you're going to end up at what? 10. And then the next one, sorry, not 4 or 5. You're going to end up at 15. What's the formula? We're looking here. If there are 4 people, you have 4 in your formula. If there are 3 people, you have 3 times 2 divided by 2. You have 3 in your formula. So if you have n people, you will have an n times something, and then what are we going to do with that? Divide by 2. So you have to know this formula. You have to recognize it. You won't necessarily recognize the situation until you do the table. So what's going to go in here? Notice the other pattern here? 3 times 2. What's the case here? How does the second number relate to the first number? Minus 1. And this is the recursive relationship is knowing that you take the one before it and subtract them and add another one more than that. This is the closed formula. So if I have 30 people, then it's 30 times 30 minus 1 divided by 2. Now, I'm an AP Calculus grader. I don't care if you divide it. In fact, on the exam, you don't. Just leave it. Because my goal here is for you to see the pattern and to be able to put the numbers in. I would like you to be able to do the arithmetic, but that's not my goal. It's not my motivation today. My motivation is to get the n minus 1 over 2. So I don't get upset if you don't simplify things. And I've been doing it for a long time, 20 years. And you say, what does this have to do with problem 6? Well, let's see if I can find problem 6. And we're going to do problem 6. Is it that one? No, further down. This is a hard problem. I'm going to create a table just like I did before. You are not lucky. You do not have a little button here that has a table. I wish Smartboard would put something in, but they haven't done it yet. Because I need to recognize the handshake problem. And I also knew that we were going to have, you have to know the handshake problem. Where is it? I guess I can't move it. So I knew that answer had to be something that was linear, a line. If x increases by 1, y increases by the same number every time. Or I had to get this handshake problem. Well, I wasn't getting that. I didn't draw my pictures very well. Okay, so we're not going to draw 35 because you go crazy. And the wording on this was not good. No two lines are parallel. So you don't have any parallel lines, to put it simply. And no three lines are concurrent. In other words, these three lines here have to intersect in different points. You can't have all three intersect in the one point, because if you do that, it changes the whole problem terribly. So here's what I'm going to put over here. This is the number of lines, and this is the number of intersection points. Okay, so let's fill in what we got. One line, how many lines does that intersect with? Nothing, right? If you have two lines, how many points does that intersect with? 1. Now, if you have 3 lines, it's what? 3. Okay, so we probably would like to do some more of these and make that n or whatever. I'm going to draw this. Now, I also have another advantage. I did this on paper pencil, and my lines weren't exactly straight. I want to do some straight lines, but watch what I can do that you can't do. Okay, so we're going to do 4 next. 4 lines. So I'm going to put in 4 lines. And I can't have them be parallel. And you may say, well, there's 4 intersection points. But these are lines. They are not segments. So I am going to extend, which one do I want? This one. They're lines. So I have to look outside the box. I'll rotate that a little bit so it fits. What else? This one will do it. And you may not see this. So you don't have the, sorry, you don't have it. It would be nice if you did. I have things extended. These are always going to go away from each other, these two also. Okay, so let's count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Well, when I did it, I found 5. I don't know what I missed. So my pattern wasn't very good. I did do the next one right. And you should hopefully be seeing a pattern. It should look familiar. Let's do one more. Because when you don't know what to do, that's what you do. How many do I need? 5? Okay, it looks like there's only 5, but there's more than that. Because we have to extend these. And I also can rotate mine a little bit so it's not going to be so big. Oh, almost missed this one. See, that's the problem. I missed some. And, oh, guess what I'm going to get? A star. I didn't know that. I always learn something new every day. I've taught geometry for years. I did not know that this would do this. or else I don't remember. Let's count them. One. That's why paper pencil was easier for me, unless you change your pen on your iPad. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now, I'm hoping you see the pattern. The difference between these is 1, that's what? 2, 3, 4. You know what the next one is. 5. So what problem is this? It's the handshake problem. However, I couldn't analyze it in the same way because I don't have the duplicates. I had to look at the table here and say, that looks like the table from the handshake problem. So I couldn't figure this out right away from scratch. So that's what I'm saying. You have to know this. Well, I didn't know that until after the day ended yesterday. Sorry. I should write up little notes. Somebody teaches this next year. But whatever. Kind of cool. So I'm hoping that has helped you because your homework, we're going to do this worksheet in class. I'm going to collect this worksheet in class because I found people not doing it, which is not a good option. And I'm going to, I'm going to help you with the worksheet. We're going to go over it. I'm going to give you the solutions. Take the homework quiz. Bell will ring. We'll be done. Your homework then is to go back into this lesson. If you got stuck, I'm hoping this helped clarify. I'm not getting feedback, so I don't really know, but I think this should have helped clarify what to do. Plus, read the question. Like some of these, I want to find, looks kind of similar. This is how many diagonals on number 4. This is from one vertex, how many diagonals can you draw? So if you do this problem first, from one vertex, I have 3 vertices and I have no diagonals. I have 4 vertices. From this diagonal, how many can I draw? 1. Now, just because of my crazy notation, you're going to see what's going to happen here. How about 5? How many can you draw? 2. If you subtract these, because I accidentally wrote it this way, I get 3, 3, 3. I'll bet you can tell me without drawing it, how many are you able to draw? 3. So if this is n, what's that number relative to the first number? It's n minus 3. That would be the number. Sorry, I don't want to do that yet. N is the number of vertices. And how many diagonals from one vertex? Number of diagonals from 1. Is n minus 3. Take that answer and go to the next question. How many, if I do all the vertices? I want to leave that open for you to think about. Okay, you'll have to make up your homework quiz before school, after school, sometime. Okay? Okay? So I'm going to pause my recording, if I can find it. Okay, you guys, I don't know if it's good or bad, but these are the answers. There is no other answer. I'm going to cut that. There is no other answer for number 1. I saw a lot of people using 3 letters. We don't use 3 letters. We use one letter. We use 2 letters. It's a ray, so you must always start at that endpoint, which is at X. You can name it with any other point on the line. It doesn't matter. So I'm going to name it with Y, and you might name it with Z. They're both correct. You cannot reverse the order of those letters. If you don't have the little symbol on top, or if you have the letters reversed, you don't get the points. Okay, it's going to be right or wrong. So check your answers right now. I'm going over it. Okay, guys? B is a line. Those are 4 answers. I think that's all my possibilities. Maybe more, I don't know. But you can flip it. It doesn't matter. But notice I put a little line segment above these guys. C is a segment. So you draw a segment. There's only 2 ways to name C. PQ, QP. D, my favorite way to name this angle is angle 1. Or angle C, because there's no confusion. But guess what? When you name it with 3 letters, what must the middle letter always be?
Vertex.
The vertex. Good. I saw a lot of people not knowing how to do that. Okay, your protractor, when you get to do an obtuse angle and you get past the 90-degree mark, your protractor starts going back down. Mine doesn't. So I don't like that. Oops. I gotta move this guy. Okay, so the other thing is some people didn't know how to place their protractor on their angle. See this point right there? That's going to go at the vertex, and you must line the angle up on the line on the bottom of that protractor. I just learned this. I can cheat. It's not cheating. No, 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 no. Don't do that. There we go. Look at that. I can do this. You can't do that. Now, on my protractor, it's easy to read. On yours, it's going to look like the top one, except this is going to be 0 here. You're going to get 0 to 90 up to here. That's okay. But, I don't know if this is going to work, but you have to do this part. But yours starts counting back down on the other side. I suppose you could flip it. So I have to add up that difference. Well, this looks like 60 to 90 is 30, 31, 32, 33. So it's going to be 33 degrees plus the 90. That's what you have to do. And I'm sorry, I didn't realize your protractors were weird like that. If you have a regular store-bought one, probably not like that. You can just read it right off of this. So what is it, 123? There's the 120, 121, 122, 123. Those protractors go back down on the other side of 90. I know why, but I would just flip it over since you can see through it. Okay. Now the next problem we had was the acute angle. A lot of students wanted to put their protractor there. No, put the point there, but then rotate this so that that line is right on there. I suppose you could subtract angles. That's harder. And now I'm going to make this. Oh, look at that. It even gives me the measure. Oh, this is unfair. 74 degrees. Oh, 52. 73. I don't know why it wants to give me 52, but if I touch it, it gives me 73. Which is the really nice thing about the Inspire app on the iPad, because you can do basically easier than that. You name the angle, it tells you the measure. You don't even have to put a protractor on it. We are going to be getting GeoGebra as an app, but it's probably going to be a couple months down the road. GeoGebra?
Geometry algebra.
It's like the iPad app for the Inspire. Okay. I want to get rid of that. I'll just slide it there. Okay. Did you get number 3 right? There are no other answers. I suppose you could have written angle GEF is congruent to angle DEH, HEG, it doesn't matter. The congruence is with angles. The equals are with measures. If you don't have M of angle FEG, it's wrong. Okay, are you getting that? Are you listening to this? You'll learn that every word out of my mouth, except for when I talk about my dogs or something silly, is important. You got to have that M there. You have to have the angle symbol there. You have to have the E in the middle. And if you don't, it's wrong. Okay, so the angles are congruent. Could I have cheated and put 1 and 2 and said angle 1 is congruent to angle 2? Yes, you can. That's what I do. Okay, the next one, there were a bunch of things that were congruent. We had this segment here congruent to that one. We also had this segment here congruent to that one. And if they're congruent, then their lengths are the same. So you write it without the bar. Have you done the back side yet? Are we ready? When we grade these, and especially when we get to the summatives, you will have to do everything I've done on problem 4. You can't do it your own way. I must see that equation. And in the old days, we didn't have these handouts, so it's really nice to have them. You went from the book and you copied it onto a piece of paper, and you had to copy all that. Well, it's all done. All you have to do is mark what you know. And I know that AB is 6x minus 8, BC is 2x plus 5, and use your head. This is why it's called logical reasoning. If I add these two together, it's equal to 5x plus 9. I don't care if you have the right answer at the end. If you don't have that equation, you will get 0 points. 0. You have to show your work. You have to communicate. And so we ended up with x equal to 4. There's my work. I don't want to take a lot of time with that. But if you have a question, you got to ask me. Okay. I added similar terms over here. That's a great question, though. I added these because they're the same. I always simplify before I solve. Some of you like to solve first. I don't recommend it. Not a good plan. How about 5? I have this segment, and I have this segment, and I have that one. If I take this and this, and I'm going to clone that, put them end to end, and then I'm going to take this one again now and add it to CD, what's true if I draw this right? Why does it feel like it's not right? It should be the same. Oh, it's not that. Did I make? Oh, I know why they're not the same, because they're not literally the same on there. Sorry. I can't extend it. We'll just do that. We'll just cheat a little. But if I take the same thing to 2 segments that are equal, in fact, let me do this. I'm going to get rid of this one because that's just not right. And I'll just clone that one. I'll show you why it's not right. It doesn't. Drawing wasn't accurate. That's why you can never assume from drawings. But they told me they were equal, and there. Now I get them to be the same length. So AC, the distance from A to C, is the same as from B to D. Just use logic. Is that okay? Okay, one last one. I'm going to erase some stuff here. That was wrong. Because I got my X and Y's mixed up. So let's just do this. There's a couple ways to do this. The one on the quiz is a little bit easier. You are only responsible for linear relationships. If this goes up by 1 every time on the x's, or the same amount every time, which it does, and this goes up the same amount every time on the y's, -7 to -3, I'm going to do what? Add 4. Now I check. If I add 4 here, it's a -3. Sorry, you can't see it. Does that work? And let me do one more time. If I add 4 here, there it is. Well, you should remember this from last year, but maybe you don't, and we need to hit on it. You have to remember y equals mx plus b. And then I pick a point here to find out what b is. I chose 8, 1, except that I put the 8 and the 1 in the wrong place, which is easy to do. But the input is 8. Okay, so this is going to be 8. The slope is 4, and y is 1. So 1 equals 4 times 8 plus b. So 1 equals 32 plus b. And subtracting 32 from both sides. B is equal to -31. Then the other class said, well, why did you choose 8, 1? I said, I don't have to. I could choose 9, 5. So let's do that in blue. 5 is equal to the slope, which is 4, times the x, which is 9, plus d. Guess what? You do the math, it's negative 31. Or I could count backwards. 6 is pretty far away from 0, but it'll work. And I just counted backwards by 4s. And when I got here, I see what I have, negative 27 there. And then I have to do 4 again, so that's negative 31. So the formula, if I use the n's, will be 4n minus 31. So what's this answer going to be? I guess we didn't finish. 4 times 100 minus 1. 400 minus 3, sorry. 390. No. Oh, it's 31, sorry. I had 3. Sorry, I saw the bar there and it just didn't click in my head. That's okay. Minus 31 is 369. Okay, there you go. So that was a little review. You need to go back and look at your homework again. So you have a homework check. There are supposed to be problems out of your homework. I'm not sure about that, but anyway.